What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Weekly GCap, the only source you'll ever need to catch up on all the gaming news from the last week. As usual, we got quite a couple stories to go through, so let's go ahead and get right into this. First things first, Mortal Kombat 1 was announced. I'm honestly so excited for this. They dropped a trailer for the game, and then in the description it just says, "It's in our blood. Discover a reborn Mortal Kombat universe created by the fire god Liu Kang." Mortal Kombat 1 ushers in a new era of the iconic franchise with a new fighting system, game modes, and fatalities. It also goes on to mention that pre-orders will be going live May 19th at 10 a.m. Pacific, so chances are by the time that you're watching this video, the pre-orders are already either live or will be going live very soon. And the release date as of now is slated for September 19th, so let's just hope that there's no delays. You know, a lot of games have been getting delayed lately. I mean, as I always say, you know, it's better to delay a game and have it come out actually complete and, you know, not a buggy mess. But at the same time, it would be nice if we could just have more games announce the release date and have that actually be the official release date, or at least, you know, maybe like hold off from announcing the game until you know it's close to being ready to go to where you know you can meet that deadline. But anyways, yeah, looks like we just got 4 short months and then we'll be playing the new Mortal Kombat game. I am so excited. And for our next story, a new Lord of the Rings MMO was announced. This coming from Amazon Games. Quote, Amazon Games and Embracer Group, through its wholly owned subsidiary Middle-earth Enterprises, part of the operative group Free Mode, today announced they have reached an agreement for Amazon Games to develop and publish a new massively multiplayer online, aka MMO, game based on the Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. The upcoming game will be an open-world MMO adventure in a persistent world set in Middle-earth, featuring the beloved series of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings literary trilogy. The game is in early stages of production, with Amazon Games Orange County, makers of the popular open-world MMO game New World, leading development. Amazon Games will publish the game globally for PC and consoles. Additional details, including launch timing, will be shared at a later date. So, you know, as this article said, we don't know anything about a release date, and we also don't know anything about the consoles that it will be released on. It just said PC and consoles, but we don't know if the Switch, the Xbox One, and PS4 are included in that or not. I'm gonna go ahead and take a guess that it probably won't be on the Xbox One and PS4. I mean, there's a slight chance, but you know, more and more games that have been announced lately have kind of been making the shift to next gen only, and considering the fact that this is only in early production, we won't be seeing this for at least another year or two, so it's probably only gonna be on the next gen consoles and PC. But regardless, I'll let you guys know as soon as we know more. And for our next story, this is kind of a quick one here. The Super Mario movie is available now. So this coming from Nintendo Everything. Quote, the Super Mario Bros. Movie will be seeing its digital home debut tomorrow, which is like 3 days ago by the time that you guys are seeing this. May 16th, Universal Home Pictures has announced. The film can be seen on digital platforms in the United States, where you can buy or rent movies from Universal Pictures Home Entertainment. Fans will also eventually be able to purchase the Super Mario Bros. Movie on Blu-ray and DVD, but a release date has not yet been announced. Currently, pre-orders are available at retailers such as Best Buy, so unfortunately, it's not available on Blu-ray or DVD yet, which that's kind of what I'm waiting for. However, you know, if you want to rent the movie or get it digitally, you can do that. I'm really trying to hold out until the Blu-ray comes out, but man, it is so tempting. You know, renting a movie, it's only like $3 or $4, so I think I might cave and, you know, just shell a little money out just so I can finally watch it. And for our next story, a PlayStation Showcase was announced. This coming from PlayStation Blog. Quote, you're invited. PlayStation Showcase broadcast live next Wednesday, May 24th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. The show will run a bit over an hour, focusing on PS5 and PSVR 2 games in development from top studios from around the world. Expect a glimpse at several new creations from PlayStation Studios, as well as spellbinding games from our third-party partners and indie creators. The live broadcast starts next Wednesday, May 24th at 1 p.m. Pacific time / 9 p.m. British time on YouTube and Twitch. Hope to see you there. So obviously they didn't go into too much detail here about what we're going to be seeing at the showcase. I'm expecting that we'll probably get, like, I don't know, maybe another trailer for Spider-Man, maybe an update on Wolverine, the Last of Us Factions game. We may potentially see something about the long-rumored Horizon MMO multiplayer Monster Hunter type game. As always though, next week after the showcase, we're going to do a complete recap here on Weekly GCap. So, you know, if you don't have the time to sit there and watch like an hour-long presentation, you can just tune into the next episode of the show, and we usually try to recap the whole showcase in about like 5 minutes or so. For our next story, this one's definitely going to be a bit disappointing for Switch owners. Hogwarts Legacy has been delayed on Switch. This coming from the official Hogwarts Legacy Twitter account. Quote, Hogwarts Legacy launches on Nintendo Switch on 11/14/2023, aka November 14th of this year. We know fans are looking forward to playing on Switch, therefore creating the best possible experience is our top priority. Thank you for your patience. Available now on PS5 and PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One and PC. This isn't the first time that this game has been delayed for the Switch, so yeah, I guess they're having a lot of problems trying to get this game to run on Switch, which, you know, it makes sense. The console came out in 2017, however, at that point, it was already pretty underpowered compared to the other consoles that have been on the market since 2013. So considering the fact that it's a machine from 2017 and it's weaker than devices that were released in 2013, it kind of makes sense as to why they're having trouble getting this thing to run on Switch. I'm hoping that the end result will still be, you know, like somewhat playable and won't be like an Alan Wake remastered situation where it's like 15 FPS, 540p. Worst comes to worst, I know this isn't the most ideal scenario in the world, but I mean, I'd rather take like a cloud version of the game over like a 540p, 15 FPS experience. These devs seem pretty competent, and you know, they did a good job with the last gen ports, you know, on PS4 and Xbox One of this game, so I'm holding out hope. I'm hoping they can put out a good product, and as always, I'll let you guys know immediately once the game comes out on Switch. And for our next story, the ROG Ally pre-orders have gone live. If you remember us talking about this device, it's essentially like the new competitor to the Steam Deck, but anyway, this is coming from Polygon, quote, Asus announced that its ROG Ally handheld gaming PC will be released on June 13th, and you can pre-order one starting today. It's launching with AMD's new Z1 Extreme processor and a 512GB SSD for $699.99, only $50 more than Valve's most kitted out Steam Deck. A less powerful version is coming for $599.99 in Q3 2023. Just to clarify, when I say like $599.99, I'm not talking like $5,000 some dollar. No, this is $599.99. I wanted to make that clear. I'm very interested to see how the ROG Ally is going to be received by the public, because obviously we just had the Steam Deck come out, oh gosh, that was what, last year already? And obviously the Steam Deck has been doing very well, you know, part of that being the fact that it's integrated so well with Steam and the whole Steam ecosystem. So I'm really curious to see how the ROG Ally is going to be received and how it's going to perform over time. Personally, if I had to kind of like throw out a guesstimate, I feel like it probably won't end up doing as well as the Steam Deck, but I feel like it could be a fair competition for the Steam Deck going forward. It's really interesting seeing all these new like consoles and handhelds and stuff come out. Like obviously we had the Switch back in 2017, and then we have the Steam Deck, and then now the ROG Ally, and obviously there's going to be like a Switch 2 coming at some point in a couple of years. I'm definitely really excited to see the future of handheld gaming. Anyway, for our next story, Summer Game Fest partners list was revealed. So this coming from Jeff Keighley on Twitter, quote, and here we go. More than 40 partners set to take place in Summer Game Fest activities. Sign up for events alerts at summergamefest.com. Join us for our live showcase event at YouTube Theater on June 8th. Public tickets now on sale. And then there's a picture under it that lists all of the various ones that are going to be there. I'm not going to run through it because, again, it's like 40 freaking partners. But I'll at least list off a few of them. And those include Activision, Disney, EA, PlayStation, Sega, Xbox, Ubisoft, Steam, Razer. Like, the list just goes on and on. Techland, HoYoverse, which are the people behind like Genshin Impact. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty packed show. Oh, Epic Games as well, Bandai Namco, like seriously. At this point, this is literally only like 2 weeks away, and obviously once the event does happen, you know, for most showcases that happen throughout the year, I try to go through and do like massive recaps of every single game was announced at, you know, each various showcase and direct, but for the Summer Games Fest, yeah, that's going to be a little hard for me to do that. I mean, I can try, but I have a feeling I'm probably just going to end up covering like the big things that are announced and things that are revealed and mentioned at Summer Game Fest. I promise I will do my absolute best. Anyways, for our next story, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom sold 10 million copies in 3 days. This coming from Nintendo's official Twitter account, quote, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has sold over 10 million copies worldwide in its first 3 days, becoming the fastest selling game in the history of the Legend of Zelda series. So thanks to those already enjoying Link's latest adventure. Unfortunately, I do not have a Nintendo Switch. I'm kind of just holding out for the next Nintendo console at this point because we know it's going to be coming within the next couple of years. At least we hope so. So, you know, I'm hoping that maybe this game will get a, you know, an upgrade path to the next Switch if they end up doing something with that. As I've said many times, I played Breath of the Wild for the first time a couple of months ago on my Wii U, and I absolutely loved that game. I was really excited for Tears of the Kingdom. I've heard nothing but good things about this game, so I don't know. It's just, it makes me happy seeing it do so well. I got a soft spot in my heart for all of the Nintendo IPs. Kirby, Donkey Kong, Zelda, Metroid, Mario, the list goes on and on. So, you know, it always makes me really happy seeing one of those games come out from one of those franchises and just be as good as Tears of the Kingdom is. Anyway, for our next story, Deviation Games lays off over half of their staff. This coming from Video Games Chronicle, quote, PlayStation-backed Deviation Games hit with layoffs. The studio is currently working on an original IP that will be published by Sony. Sources telling VGC as many as 90 members of staff may have been affected. Now, let me just go ahead and tell you guys, there was about 140-ish members there before, so laying off 90 members, Yeah, that's a big deal. Now, several now ex-employees of Deviation have announced their departure on social media, with software engineer Kyle Perez writing that my studio recently ran into a difficult situation and was forced to make a number of layoffs, which I was a part of. VGC has reached out to both Sony and Deviation for comment and will update the story should we receive a response, and I just checked it before recording this episode. Unfortunately, there was not an update or a new response from Deviation or Sony. I'm sure you may be confused as to why I'm playing a Black Ops 3 Zombie Chronicles trailer over this story, and that is because a lot of the minds and developers behind Deviation games actually used to work at like Treyarch and used to, make games for like Call of Duty Zombies and stuff like that. However, with 90 members getting laid off, and then one of the heads of the studio, or one of the original heads of the studio, that being Jason Blundell, which, Jason Blundell, back when he used to work at Treyarch, he was one of the masterminds behind Zombies that made it what it is and was part of why everybody was so excited to see what was going to be coming from Deviation games. He left just a couple of months ago, and now with all these layoffs, it really has me wondering, and I'm pretty concerned for the state of, whatever they're cooking up over at Deviation Games. I'm hoping that this game can still get made, because I'm excited to at least see what they're making. Even though Jason Blundell and literally like 90 people have been fired at this point, they were obviously still all there for at least the majority of the creation of this project so far. So at this point, I'm just hoping that there's still enough people there and enough of the original talent still there to work with whatever they have done and kind of just push this project to the finish line. This is a story that I will definitely be following closely, so if we get an update on this by the time that it's time for me to record the next WGC episode, I will definitely let you guys know. But regardless, whether it takes a couple weeks or a couple months, as soon as we get a more in-depth explanation as to why this happened, I will definitely be letting you guys know, because I am really curious. Real quick, I always like to cover, the subscription-based stuff like PlayStation Plus Essential, Extra, Premium, Nintendo Switch Online, Game Pass, etc. And this time, I have some more Xbox Game Pass games for you guys. So, I'll go ahead and rattle off all the upcoming Game Pass games, those being Massive Chalice, Railway Empire 2, Cassette Beast, Ghost Lore, Chicory, A Colorful Tale, Eastern Exorcist, FIFA 23, and Planet of Lana. So, it's not any huge AAA games unless you count FIFA 23, but the games in this lineup still seem pretty quality, and I've actually been looking forward to trying out a few of these, so I'll definitely be diving in and trying these out. Anyways, for our next story, this one's definitely going to be a bummer for my Overwatch players out there. This coming from IGN, quote, Blizzard has officially scrapped Overwatch 2's long-awaited PvE hero mode, but the game's creative leads are assuring fans that PvE is still a focus for the game moving forward. On a Twitch stream detailing Overwatch 2's content roadmap, executive producer Jared Noose explained the decision to cut the PvE content. Quote, development on the PvE experience has not really made the progress that we have hoped, Noose said. The team has created a bunch of amazing content, so there's awesome missions that are really exciting, there's brand new enemies that are super fun to fight, and some truly great and ridiculous hero talents, but unfortunately, the effort required to pull all of that together in a Blizzard quality experience that we can ship to you is huge, and there really is no end in sight or defined kind of end date where we can put that out into the world. And so we are left with another difficult choice. Do we continue to pour all that effort into PvE, hoping we can land it at some point in the future, or do we stick with this set of values that we have aligned on and focus on the live game and focus on serving all of you? With everything we have learned about what it takes to operate this game at the level that you deserve, it's clear that we can't deliver on that original vision for PvE that was shown in 2019. What that means is that we won't be delivering that dedicated hero mode with talent trees, that long-term talent power progression. Those things are just not in our plans anymore, and we know that this is going to be disappointing to many of you, which is why we wanted to bring it up before we talk about the roadmap. And to be perfectly honest, it's been really difficult for many of us and a lot of folks on the team that pour their heart and soul into that stuff, end quote. Overwatch 2's PvE mode was supposed to be a big differentiating factor between the original game and its sequel. In 2019, we got to go hands-on with the PvE, which was set to have new hero abilities, co-op attacks, and a level progression system, but when Overwatch 2 launched, the long-awaited PvE mode wasn't a part of it. Instead, Blizzard promised that Overwatch 2's PvE would come sometime in 2023 as seasonal content. Even though the original vision for the PvE mode has been cut, there was still a lot of content in the Overwatch 2 pipeline. On Twitter, the Overwatch account shared an image detailing plans for Overwatch 2 Season 5, 6, and 7, and beyond. It's confirmed that story missions are coming to Overwatch 2 in Season 6 alongside a new support hero, so while the ambitious PvE mode isn't a part of Overwatch's future, maybe the story missions can help fill that void for players, and I'm just gonna say it right now, no, no, this mode is not going to fill that void for Overwatch 2 players, okay? The main thing with Overwatch 2 that was supposed to separate it from the original Overwatch 1 game was this new PvE mode. It's something new, it's something fresh, something outside of the Overwatch gameplay that we know, the competitive PvP play, but yeah, no, it's not going to be in the game now, which, yeah, it definitely makes Overwatch 2's existence just feel even more unnecessary than it already did before, if I'm going to be honest. It's cool that the game is free to play now. You know, that's nice, but I don't know. The fact that this PvE mode isn't even going to be in the game, the main thing that was supposed to make this game different from the original, it's just, I don't know, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like, sure, they're going to have story modes, but I mean, if you've already put this much time into developing a mode, why would you just kick it to the side? I mean, Activision is huge. Couldn't they just get another dev team on it, get more employees in there, just literally anything? I mean, they have like 100 studios working on Call of Duty, okay? It might not actually be 100 studios, but it sure does seem like it when I'm watching the credits when I start up the game. Overwatch makes a lot of money, and Activision's got the big bucks. Like, what's going on, man? I'm not gonna lie, I used to really enjoy Overwatch 1. I played that game a lot. I wasn't really looking forward to Overwatch 2. It was just one of those things where, like, yeah, I'll play, but it's not something I'm genuinely excited for. I was genuinely excited for a time for the PvE mode, but now that that won't be existing, yeah, I'm just probably, I don't know, I'll probably like delete the game and just kind of move on at this point. I definitely want to hear from the Overwatch fans down below. Are you upset that this won't be coming to the game? Because I know I definitely am. And for our last story of the day, as always, anytime that I have an update on the whole Microsoft Activision acquisition drama, I always save it for last, just so then I can kind of warn everybody, like, hey, if you're tired of hearing about this stuff, I totally understand, you're free to click off now. But for those of you that care about this stuff and are still following this story, I have, once again, another update for you guys. And this time, it's actually some good news. So, you know, I'm actually excited to talk about this one. So, the EU has approved the Microsoft deal. This coming from The Verge, quote, the European Commission has approved under the EU merger regulation the proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft. The approval is conditional on full compliance with the commitments offered by Microsoft. The commitments fully address the competition concerns identified by the Commission and represent a significant improvement for cloud gaming as compared to the current situation. Today's decision follows an in-depth investigation of the proposed acquisition of Activision by Microsoft. As always, the Commission has based this decision on hard evidence and on extensive information and feedback from competitors and customers, including from game developers and distributors, as well as cloud gaming streaming platforms in the EU, end quote. So, yeah, the EU has approved it, so now we're just kind of waiting to hear from the FTC and what their final decision is going to be, and we're also still waiting to see if there's going to be an update on the CMA and their decision. I've been saying it from the start, I'm pretty confident that this deal will go through. The only thing kind of standing in the way right now is the CMA, so I assume Microsoft is probably in talks with the CMA on working out new solutions or possible remedies that will make them approve this deal, but otherwise, yeah, this is pretty good news for the deal. Again, we'll just kind of have to wait and see what the FTC says, and we'll also have to wait and see if the CMA ends up going back on their decision, which a part of me feels like they might, especially if Microsoft, you know, actually comes up with some remedies or solutions that fall in line with, you know, what the CMA's concerns were the first time that made them disapprove or block the deal in the first place. Things are definitely heating up. I don't think it's going to be closing by the original proposed June date of this year. It's probably going to be going on for a couple more months at this point. But regardless, this is definitely a step in the right direction. Anyways, yeah, that's all the stories I got for you guys this week. Now, I definitely want to hear from you guys. What are your guys' thoughts on everything? Have you been playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? Are you bummed out about the canceled PvE mode for Overwatch 2? Are you excited for Summer Games Fest? And what are your thoughts on the whole Microsoft Activision acquisition drama? As always, whatever you're thinking and whatever it is, I'd love to hear from you guys. Yeah, this is Weekly GCap. New episodes go live every single Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, so if you want to catch them as soon as they go live, well then, now you know when to be here. But anyways, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.